guys, it's Lana here, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about some things that you've probably heard, especially on YouTube or on blogs or just from family and friends, and it's basically all the worst curly hair advice that I have ever heard, and you've probably heard it too. So I thought I would just throw it all into one video and try to clear some things up for some of you guys, because I get a lot of comments from some of you who are really confused because you've got some advice from some place and then some advice that contradicts it somewhere else, and it just makes everything a bit confusing. So these are the worst pieces of curly hair advice that I've ever heard, and I'm going to try and set them right for you guys. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if you found it helpful. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. Turn on your notifications as well so you don't miss my uploads. Let's go ahead and get on with the video. So the very first piece of bad advice is to never shampoo your hair. I've heard this, like the no poo method. I have personally never done the no poo method, and I know that this is not just something for curly girls. There are lots of people doing the no poo method. I remember there was a girl in school who did the no poo method, and she used to get picked on because she had like straight hair, short straight hair, and because she hadn't washed it, it was like insanely greasy. Props to her for keeping going with it, because she told everybody that she was doing the no poo method, and she said that after a year her hair would eventually clean itself. Like, I know that your body has a very good way of regulating itself. It can begin to regulate its oils. The same thing happens with your face. You shouldn't really scrub your face too much or cleanse your face too much, because then you can disrupt the pH balance and the oil balance and everything like that. So it's not a good idea to wash your hair too often. I don't know about never washing your hair at all with shampoo, ever. Because you need to cleanse your hair in some kind of way. There are lots of things, especially us curly girls, we use a lot of products, and those products can build up. There's no other way for those products to get off of your hair unless you wash your hair. And it's not just products, it's bacteria, it's grease and oils, pollution from the air, it's all kinds of things that could be making your hair smell and all kinds of things like that. And probably the worst thing for us curly girls, especially if you're trying to grow your hair, is the fact that that bacteria is probably going to start inhibiting your hair growth. Any kind of gunk, anything that's laying on top of your scalp is basically going to suffocate your scalp, and it's going to make it hard for your hair to grow. So I strongly recommend shampooing. What I would suggest instead is a sulfate-free shampoo. And I know that that's not for everybody. Some people prefer to use shampoos with sulfates. They offer a much more thorough cleanse, but for lots of us curly girls, that sulfate, that deep cleanse is going to be too harsh. So I would recommend using a sulfate-free shampoo. Use a cream cleanser, any kind of cleanser. Even if you want to stay away from shampoos altogether, use some kind of cleanser on your hair. The amount of washes that you need to do is going to be different for everybody. Some people can wash once a week, some people can wash twice a week, some people can wash once a month, some people can wash every 6 weeks, and it goes on and on and on. But at some point, I would definitely recommend washing your hair. It's going to make your hair feel revived. Your scalp is going to be able to breathe again. It's going to enable your hair follicles to actually push some hair out and actually get your hair growing. And I'm sure you're just going to feel a lot better after just shampooing. Okay. So number 2 is when it comes to protective styling. So I have seen people protective styling, and it could be a bun, it could be box braids, it could be faux locks, it could be cornrows, and it's too damn tight. It's too damn tight. And you know what's going to happen? Like, you're trying to protect your hair and all you're really going to do is pull it out. I've seen people wearing their hair in buns every day, and you see that their hair starts receding. Like, one day they had hair up here, and then they're wearing buns every day, and a year later they're starting from back here. They've got no edges left because they pulled their hair so tight, it was so slick, the edges are gone. So I don't want any of you listening to somebody who says, hey, have a look at this protective style that involves tying or pulling your hair that tightly. I've seen it all over Instagram. Somebody goes and gets box braids done, and it's pulling. It's pulling, it's pulling, it's pulling. If it feels too tight, it is too tight, okay? If it feels too tight, it's really actually gonna pull your hair out. I don't even know if that's like a bad piece of advice or that's just something that you're doing wrong. So protective styling, be gentle with your hair, keep your hair in your head. That's the way to do it. Number 3 is slapping on that conditioner. Too much conditioner everywhere, all over your head. I used to do this when I first started my natural hair journey. I was all about the conditioner. I was like, and I had conditioner on my scalp, I had conditioner way up at my roots. I think one of my very first curly hair routines, I had conditioner way up in the roots of my hair. People were like, oh my gosh, she put conditioner wiping the roots of her hair. So I had to learn. The good advice would be to apply conditioner to the lengths of your hair and the ends of your hair. Don't apply conditioner to your roots, and definitely do not apply conditioner to your scalp, because conditioner is very thick and it will clog the pores on your scalp. If you apply it to your roots, it's just going to weigh your hair down, make it look flat. It's not what you want. Your hair doesn't need it. Just keep the conditioner for the roots and for the lengths of your hair. That's the only place it needs to be. Number 4 is detangling. Detangling your hair when it's wet or detangling your hair when it's dry. When should you do it? Because I used to hear advice, never detangle hair when it's wet. I used to hear that, and I used to hear people say never comb curly hair or never comb any hair when it's wet, because that's when the hair is the weakest. Yes, I agree that your hair is the weakest when it's wet, but tell me, when else are you going to detangle your hair? Are you going to detangle it when it's dry and there's no conditioner on it and it makes that sound like because that doesn't sound good to me. So the good advice would actually, yes, detangle your hair when it's wet. Just make sure that you have got a ton of conditioner on your hair when you're detangling. The conditioner is going to help you to detangle properly. If you're finger detangling, it's going to make it easier for you to actually do it. If you're using a comb or a brush, it's going to be a whole bunch easier if you've got a conditioner on it with a lot of slip. If it feels too hard, put more conditioner on it. And that's the way to detangle your hair. That's the way that you're going to get the least amount of breakage. It's the way that you're going to protect your hair the best. So just never listen to anybody who says not to detangle your hair when it's wet. It needs to be wet because you need to have conditioner on it, okay? Number 5 is getting regular trims. So this is more like about growing your hair, growing curly hair. People have always said to me to get regular trims. I remember when I was like 10 or 11, we had hairdressers come into school and they said everybody should get a trim every 6 weeks. So then I was thinking, I need to get my hair trimmed every 6 weeks. But they weren't. Can you not? They told everybody to get a trim every 6 weeks. And I believed it for the longest time. Like, I didn't even question it. I was like, well, they were hairdressers. They told me to get a trim every 6 weeks. So what did I do? They're like trimming my hair's getting shorter and shorter and shorter because they were not talking about curly hair. They weren't talking about hair that grows at the same rate as me. They weren't talking about hair that, you know, looks like my hair or anything like that. They were talking about straight hair. So that advice was just wrong. Basically, don't listen to anybody who says that you should get a trim just scheduled in, like regularly. You need to actually look at your hair, listen to your hair. Is it damaged at the ends? Do you have split ends? Is it growing quickly? Is it growing slowly? All of these things are going to make a difference to how often you actually need to trim your hair, and it should not be just like a regular thing. The whole purpose behind that is keeping your ends healthy, because if your ends are healthy, then your hair can keep growing instead of breaking off at the ends. But if your hair is already healthy, then you don't need to cut it. You get me? You get me? So listening to this kind of advice is really just not going to be helpful to you. Curly hair just doesn't work that way. Number 6 is kind of like a new one, like more recently, especially if you're going on like a naturally curly hair journey. And it's when people say to never, ever, 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 ever straighten your hair. Like, I talk about heat all the time on my channel, and I will always say to avoid heat like it's the plague if you're trying to grow your hair out. If you're trying to grow your hair out, heat's not going to help you. That is completely true. But I'm not going to tell you that you cannot ever use heat. And I'm not going to tell you that you are going to get shunned from the natural hair community if you decide to straighten your hair once in a while, because I straighten my hair once in a while. I like the versatility of my hair. I like the fact that I can wear it curly some days, and I like the fact that I can straighten it some days. But what I will say, of course, is to avoid heat, especially if you're trying to grow your hair. It is going to be damaging, but it's your hair and you can do whatever you want. Don't feel like you have to fit into this natural hair box. Like, don't feel as though you need to restrict yourself or confine yourself or anything like that. Part of the whole fun of having curly hair is that it's versatile and that I can straighten it sometimes. So I don't want to take that away from you and tell you that you can never ever straighten your hair. I also just think it's a bad piece of advice because it turns some people off of becoming natural. People can think that if they're not going to be completely natural, then they just can't do it at all, and they keep straightening their hair every day. If everybody knew that it's going to be okay if you straighten your hair once in a while, or it's going to be okay, we're still going to accept you in this natural hair community if you straighten your hair once in a while, then I feel like lots more people would join the bandwagon. And that goes for all heat as well. Blow dryers, curling tongs, anything you want to use, go ahead and use it, as long as you're not doing it too much, because it will damage your curls in the long run. The next one is too much protein. So this was something that I got stung by when I was quite early on in my natural hair journey. I did a protein treatment and I didn't need to do a protein treatment. So then what happens is your hair gets overloaded with protein. And I actually had to look this up because I remember back at the time I didn't really know what was happening to my hair. I just knew that I didn't like the protein treatment that I used, and I thought, yeah, I just stayed away from it for years. I was just like, I'm never using protein on my hair like that again. Then I looked at the science behind it. But basically, if you pack your hair with too much protein, then your hair's going to end up feeling brittle and dry, and it could even be prone to breakage. So definitely don't do too many protein treatments. The one that I used said that it could be used every 6 weeks. If you're using something like that, definitely do not try to use it more than it recommends. So the last one is when somebody tells you that because something worked for them, it's definitely going to work for you. Because it just can't be true. There are so many different hair textures, different curl patterns. You got to think about the fineness versus coarseness of your hair. You've got to think about the density of your hair. There's so many things to think about that nobody can tell you that just because something worked for them is going to work for you. I mean, unless they've studied your hair, unless they know your hair inside out, or unless you know each other very well, then maybe you can say something like that. Maybe if you're twin sisters, then you can say something like that. But I can't sit in front of this camera right now and tell every single one of you watching that everything that I use is going to work for you as well. One, because I don't know each and every one of your hair textures. And two, because I know that you're all different. So how can I say that everything I do is going to work for you too? It's just, it wouldn't be true. All I can do is tell you everything that I use. I can tell you everything I know. With that, then maybe you can go away and find some products that can work for you. And it's definitely going to take a lot of trial and error. And it might take you a while to find the exact products and everything that works for you. So that's the best advice that I can give to you, instead of just telling you that what I use is going to work for you. Because if I tell you that, you might end up feeling bad if it doesn't work for you. And I don't want you to feel bad. No, I don't want you to feel like you've just got troublesome hair or something like that. I just want you guys to be equipped with the knowledge that you need to find products and methods that work for you. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's how I'm going to try to help you guys. So that is everything for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I really hope that it was helpful and that it cleared some things up for you. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did like it, and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any more of my future uploads. I really want to see you guys on this channel. I love every single one of you so much. Thanks again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!